Meet Kong. He is a perfectly average, hard-working primate navigating the modern corporate machine. Like millions of other white-collar workers in 2026, Kong trades his precious time for a steady, predictable paycheck. His job consists of staring at mind-numbing spreadsheets, formatting reports, and responding to endless, meaningless emails. It takes him exactly 40 hours a week to complete his assigned tasks. He is a reliable cog in the wheel. Kong has a very simple, traditional belief about how wealth is generated. He believes that output equals income. He thinks that if he works twice as hard and produces twice as much, the company will naturally reward him with twice the money. So he grinds. He drinks terrible office coffee, skips his lunch breaks, and powers through the corporate friction. His boss is Mr. Sterling, the ultimate corporate overlord. Mr. Sterling loves employees like Kong, predictable, quiet, and consistently generating surplus value for the shareholders. Then, everything changes. Kong discovers the ultimate leverage. He discovers artificial intelligence. Kong realizes that the AI can write his emails, analyze his data, and build his presentations in literal seconds. It is a tool that grants him the processing power of 10 highly educated humans. He immediately pays the $20 monthly subscription fee out of his own pocket. It feels like buying superpowers. The very next Monday, Kong arrives at the office and quietly unleashes his new digital brain. The results are absolutely staggering. A massive quarterly report that usually takes him 3 grueling days is fully completed, proofread, and formatted in 14 minutes. Kong has officially broken the matrix. He has decoupled his time from his output. He finishes his entire 40-hour weekly workload by Tuesday afternoon. For the first month, Kong plays it incredibly smart. He keeps his mouth shut, he schedules his automated emails to send randomly throughout the day so he looks busy. While his computer does the heavy lifting, Kong sits in his cubicle relaxing, reading articles, and online shopping. He glances over at his coworker, Chad. Chad is doing things the old-fashioned way, grinding, stressing, making human errors, and practically crying over his keyboard. Kong feels like an absolute genius. He is getting paid a full-time salary for 4 hours of actual work. But then, the ego takes over, the fatal flaw of the average primate. Kong decides that hiding his productivity is a waste. He remembers his old equation, more output equals more money. He thinks that if he shows Mr. Sterling he is doing the work of 3 men, he will be promoted to vice president and given a massive bonus. So, Kong cranks the AI up to maximum power. He produces 3 times the volume of reports, analysis, and data. He proudly marches into Mr. Sterling's glass corner office and drops the massive stack of flawless work on his desk. Kong explains exactly how he optimized the workflow using AI. He puffs out his chest, waiting for his reward. Mr. Sterling slowly looks at the reports. He looks at Kong, and then he smiles. But it is not a smile of gratitude. It is the smile of a corporate shark who just found a bleeding whale. "Fascinating, Kong," Mr. Sterling purrs. "You are truly a team player. I will handle it from here." The very next morning, Chad is called into the corner office. He does not come back out. Another coworker is called in. She also leaves the building with a cardboard box. Mr. Sterling realizes that if Kong can do the work of 3 people using a $20 software, he no longer needs the other 2 people. He just fired them to save the company $100,000 a year. Kong watches this happen from his cubicle. His stomach drops. He realizes his fatal miscalculation. He just automated his own friends out of a job, and he handed the playbook directly to the executives. But surely Kong will get a massive promotion for saving the company so much money, right? Wrong. This is the phenomenon sweeping through corporate America in 2026. Experts call it the Quiet Demotion. Instead of a promotion, Mr. Sterling walks over to Kong's desk and drops the workloads of the 2 fired employees directly into Kong's lap. "Since you are so efficient with your new software," Sterling says, "you can easily handle this new volume. We are consolidating the department." Overnight, Kong goes from working 4 secret hours a week back to grinding for a full 40 hours a week. Except now, his output is genuinely up 300%. He is personally doing the jobs of 3 different primates. The pressure is immense. The AI is fast, but managing the AI for 3 workloads requires constant, exhausting oversight and editing. In 2026, about 1 in 6 employers explicitly stated they expect AI to reduce their total headcount. Over 47% of U.S. workers are sitting in jobs with high exposure to automation. But the real threat isn't just a robot taking your desk. The real threat is the skill gap collapse. Before AI, 10 years of experience in Excel or coding made you highly valuable and impossible to replace. You had leverage. Today, a 22-year-old intern armed with the right language model can produce the exact same flawless output in half the time. When your complex technical skills become commoditized by an algorithm, your leverage as an employee drops to 0. You are no longer a craftsman, you are just a machine operator, and machine operators are easily replaceable. This brings us to the end of the year, annual performance reviews, Kong's moment of truth. Kong sits across from Mr. Sterling. He presents his staggering numbers. He has successfully completed the work of 3 entire departments. Surely the company will compensate him fairly for generating hundreds of thousands of dollars in extra value. Mr. Sterling looks at the chart, nods approvingly, and slides an official corporate envelope across the desk. "Excellent work this year, Kong. We are thrilled with your efficiency," Sterling says smoothly. "Here is your updated compensation package." Kong opens the envelope with trembling hands. He looks at the bold number printed at the bottom of the page. A 2% raise. 2%. Kong's jaw drops. His output went up 300%, but his pay went up 2%. But the math gets even more devastating when you factor in macroeconomic reality. In early 2026, the baseline inflation rate in the United States was hovering around 2.4%, which means that mathematically, in terms of actual purchasing power, Kong didn't get a raise at all. He literally took a pay cut while doing the jobs of 3 different people. Where did all that extra money go? Where did the value of Kong's massive AI productivity disappear to? It went straight into the pockets of the corporation's owners and shareholders as pure, unadulterated profit margin. This is the harsh, unspoken rule of the W-2 salary trap. As an employee, you do not sell your output, you rent out your time. If a new technology makes you 5 times faster, the company simply demands 5 times more work to fill the exact same 40 hours they purchased from you. You absorb all the stress of operating complex new systems, and the owners capture 100% of the financial upside. Kong sits in his cubicle, completely hollowed out. He followed all the rules, he worked hard, he innovated, and he lost. But this painful realization is exactly what Kong needs. It forces him to understand a critical shift in modern economics. You cannot outwork an algorithm. You cannot out-type an AI. The only way to survive the AI revolution is to change which side of the table you sit on. The fundamental rule of the 2026 economy is brutally simple. If you are trading your time for a salary, you are on the wrong side of the algorithm. Artificial intelligence does not create wealth for the people who operate it. It generates massive, scalable wealth exclusively for the people who own it. Every single time Kong generates a complex report 10 times faster, he isn't increasing his own market value. He is simply increasing the value of Mr. Sterling's stock portfolio. The quiet demotion works because employees like Kong are terrified of losing their jobs to automation. In fact, experts predict that nearly 92 million jobs could be globally replaced or significantly degraded by AI labor shifts by 2030. Companies weaponize this exact fear. They use it to justify freezing salaries and expanding workloads. But once Kong understands the true mechanics of this trap, the panic completely disappears. He realizes that the exact same AI tools destroying his corporate leverage can be used to build his own empire. The cost of creating a fully operational, automated side business has literally dropped to 0. Kong doesn't quit his job right away. That is a rookie mistake. He executes a strategy known as the Trojan horse. From 9 to 5, he uses the AI to do the work of 3 men for Mr. Sterling. He gives them exactly what they pay for, no more, no less. He He collects his pathetic 2% raise and secures his healthcare benefits. He blends in perfectly. But from 6 p.m. to midnight, Kong becomes the CEO of his own life. He uses the exact same AI language models, design generators, and automated workflows to launch a highly profitable digital consulting agency. He packages the skills he learned at the corporate job and sells them directly to the open market. For every hour Kong spends working on his own business, the AI amplifies his output by a factor of 10. And this time, there is no Mr. Sterling sitting at the top of the pyramid to steal the surplus value. Kong keeps 100% of the profit margin. He is successfully transformed from an operator into an owner. Within 6 months, Kong's AI-powered side hustle is generating an extra $4,000 a month in pure, unrestricted cash flow. But here is where most amateur entrepreneurs completely destroy themselves. They fall for lifestyle creep. They take their new business income and immediately upgrade their apartment, buy a stupidly expensive car, and inflate their expenses. They end up just as broke as they were before, except now they're working 2 jobs instead of 1. Kong is smarter than that. He creates an impenetrable firewall between his lifestyle and his new business income. He continues to live entirely off his stagnant corporate salary. He lives like a broke college student. What does he do with the extra $4,000 a month? He weaponizes it. He opens a brokerage account and starts aggressively buying broad market index funds. He buys the S&P 500. Every time he buys an index fund, he is buying a microscopic fraction of the very companies that are developing the AI technology. He is buying Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and NVIDIA. He is buying the algorithm itself. If the AI revolution replaces millions of workers and creates trillions in corporate profits, Kong doesn't care, because as an investor, he gets to collect his share of those exact same profits in the form of capital gains and dividends. Fast forward 3 years, it is 2029. The corporate landscape is completely unrecognizable. The inflation crisis of 2026, driven by geopolitical shocks and energy prices, has permanently devalued the purchasing power of the dollar. Mr. Sterling's company has laid off 40% of its workforce. The remaining employees are drowning in impossible workloads, terrified of being replaced. But Mr. Sterling is furious. Why? Because the initial AI productivity boom has plateaued. You see, AI is a brilliant executor, but it lacks human strategy, nuance, and critical thinking. It creates volume, not necessarily value. The executives realize they actually need experienced humans to manage the chaos. They need Kong. Mr. Sterling calls Kong into the corner office. He puts on his signature predatory smile. Kong, we are making you the senior director of automation. You will be managing a team of 12 AI agents. Of course, Sterling heads smoothly, in this economic climate, there won't be any salary increase this year. But think of the exposure. The old Kong would have accepted this abuse out of fear. He would have continued trading his life for a depreciating paycheck. But the new Kong, the Kong who invested $4,000 a month into compound interest for 3 straight years? Kong's investment portfolio has grown significantly. His assets are now generating passive income that covers his basic survival needs. On top of that, his side business is thriving, effectively matching his entire corporate salary. Kong possesses the ultimate superpower in the modern economy: FU money. When you own assets, you cannot be bullied. You cannot be manipulated by the fear of destitution. You hold the leverage. Kong looks at the shiny gold nameplate on the desk. He calmly pushes it back across the glass toward Mr. Sterling. "No thanks, Don," Kong says, refusing to use his formal title. "In fact, I'm submitting my 2 weeks' notice." Mr. Sterling's jaw drops. His predatory smile shatters instantly. He threatens Kong, warning him about the terrible job market. Kong simply stands up, turns his back on the corner office, and walks out the door. He is no longer a W-2 wage slave. He is a business owner, an investor, and a free primate. Let's summarize the harsh reality of the AI revolution so you don't end up like the millions of workers getting quietly demoted this year. Rule number 1. Never give a corporation a 300% boost in productivity for free. If you find a way to automate your job, keep your mouth shut. Use the extra time to build your own leverage, not theirs. Rule number 2, separate your time from your income. Start a side business, freelance, consult, create digital products. Do something where your income scales based on your results, not your hours. Rule number 3, buy the algorithm. Don't just complain about AI taking jobs. Own the companies that are making the AI. When you consistently invest in broad market index funds, you become an owner of the economy. The system starts working for you. And most importantly, do not let lifestyle creep ruin your escape plan. A massive income means absolutely nothing if your expenses expand to match it. That is how doctors and lawyers end up broke. Keep your overhead low, keep driving that boring, reliable, paid-off sedan. Protect your cash flow at all costs. Are you currently trading your time for a salary? Has your company used AI to expect more work from you without raising your pay? Tell me the truth in the comments below. What is the most ridiculous thing your boss has asked you to automate? I read every single comment. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so the algorithm knows you actually want to learn about wealth, not just watch cat videos. Stop trading your time for a depreciating currency. Stop letting your ego dictate your expenses. Start acting like an owner, not an operator. Outsmart your primate brain. I'll see you in the next one.